Hi guys, Zero the Geek here. Okay, all the video from MegaCon 2017 have been uploaded. Now onto MegaCon Tampa 2017. It will be the same schedule as before. A new panel video every Friday at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I will show you a little clip of each panel I recorded. Started with Maurice LaMarche.
What you need?
I'm Lewis.
Hello, Lewis.
Oh my god. Lewis. Okay, I was trying to come up with a question. I think it has to go back to the disenchantment. I think like since it's on Netflix and like the shows you've worked on with Futurama, since like Futurama's like a season by season television show, whereas like Netflix is like they throw out the whole series.
That's what we're gonna do with this.
Yeah, so like I think the question is like how is the process with that show different than like how they handle Futurama? Like if you know of it or like I think that's like the question I was going for. Is that like is there a difference between how you handle the process?
Is there a difference between putting out a show all at once versus episode by episode? Is that what you're kind of asking?
Yeah, kind of.
Well, our approach to the show so far, and again, I can't talk too much about it because I'm under contract to not talk about it. Into the microphone, but don't talk about it to other microphones. We are definitely doing it in a serialized form. So there is going to be a story that's going to go all the way through. Both this first season and second season, we follow the adventures of our main character, played by Abby Jacobson as a princess, and her two best friends, a demon and an elf. Plays the elf. And so there's magic in the show, but none of the problems are solved by magic. You know, it's just, in fact, magic creates the problems. They get themselves out of their troubles. But in creating the show, you kind of have to recap. In fact, Josh Weinstein does a recap every time we do a table reading, and we have an invited audience of friends of the show and people who are on the show. And the recap is lasting almost as long now as the read of the friggin' episode. Because you'll remember that this character met this character, and then they were put under a spell that made them, and then this one, and coma, and it's like 5 minutes before we get started on the episode. But he needs to bring everybody up to speed because it matters. It really matters what's happened before. Whereas on Futurama, we kind of went back to the beginning. And then The Simpsons the same, you know, the stuff happens in the episode, and then by the end of the show, we're back to normal, you know. So, or it's left open-ended in some way. So that's different. We do have to keep, like, where's my character now? What did he? Okay, all right, yeah, that's right. That was his fight. That was his want, and we carry on with that. You know.
Okay.
It's a different approach, but it will drop all at once. The first 10 episodes will drop all at once. We can binge it.
Thanks, can't wait.
I hope you enjoy it.
Then after that, there was an Attack on Titan panel with Trina, Nishimura, and Josh Green. If I said those names wrong, please correct me, please.
Yeah, I think it's just.
Sorry. I just have a general question. My name is Sarah.
Hi, Sarah.
Hi, Sarah. Hi, Sarah.
Can we do that the whole bit?
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello. I was just wondering how you both got into voice acting. Sir?
Dang it. Not it. I tell the story the same way every time. I had the very good fortune of falling into acting when I was really young. My mother kind of put me into theater as a way to keep me from ruining her fine linen while I made costumes, so I could ruin other people's linen at the theater. And I also loved cartoons and just any form of animation from the time I was really young. And I jokingly say my first words in this world were DuckTales woohoo, but it could be true. And the two just kind of eventually married. Like growing up, doing mostly just community theater, a lot of musical theater and stuff. Like I loved it, and that's kind of where I really honed my comedic timing when it came to performance and stuff. But I found myself very limited by theater, kind of pigeonholed, because you do kind of get cast by your physical type, how tall you are, how big you are. It will kind of shoehorn you into just very specific roles. But with voice, you have a lot more freedom, just depending on what you can do with that. And so, like, eventually, when I realized, oh wait, Donald Duck isn't real. That's just a dude doing his voice. That's a job. I mean, it's like I want that job. And so I just kind of sought it out and fell in love with anime around the time that Pokemon hit and became mainstream. And that's when me and my brother got into it. And, I became a little more addicted than he did, and found out when I was in high school that Funimation was about an hour and a half south of where I grew up, and ADV was about 2 or 3 hours south of me, and I just kind of saw which one I could find some content info for first, and got my way in, did an audition, and they liked me enough they kept using me, and here I am 14 years later.
Dang! 14 years?
Mm-hmm. Started in well, it will be 14 years in January. I started in January of 04.
On what show?
Wedding Peach for ADV.
Wow! I didn't know that was your story.
Yeah.
That's a good story, bro.
Yeah, it was insane. Like, just the fact that it worked out that way.
I've never known you without a beard, so the entire time he was telling that story, I was imagining like you, but like a smaller you with a beard, like watching DuckTales.
My whole family.
Just with the beard. My story is really similar, actually.
Okay.
I've never met anybody that started in this, because usually there's no one way to get into voice acting or acting or anything. It's usually a crapshoot. Can I say that?
Yeah.
It's usually a crapshoot. I was 9 when I started performing, so I started at my local community theater as well. I auditioned for Annie, why I thought they would cast a Japanese girl as Annie. I don't know. I was like, I can do it! That's a theater reference, that was a song. Not well sung though. So I auditioned for Annie, not cast, shocking. I could have been a great orphan, but I could have. I was hungry all the time, because I am hungry all the time. I was eventually cast in a show, I think it was Oliver. They were like, all right, you can't be an orphan. Street urchin, sure. I'm an orphan, doesn't matter. So I started touring professionally when I was 13 with the theater company. Why my mom was like, oh yeah, this is fine, like go ahead. And I don't know, I think it's just because she was a single mom and had 4 kids. It was like, please take one of them, just take her, please, for the love of God. And so then I just was acting from a very early age. And I loved it. It's just playing pretend. It's what I've always wanted to do and be until I got to college, at which point I was like, real world, I'm gonna be a lawyer. That's funnier to me. I'm gonna do it. So I was in college and I was broke, because that's your job in college, is to be broke, and I was very good at it. And a friend of mine told me about an audition at Funimation. He was an audio engineer. And I was like, no, Jimmy, I'm not gonna do that. I'm a grown-up now. I don't act anymore. I'm gonna be a lawyer. He was like, it pays. I was like, when is it? And I auditioned, and the bug bit, the acting bug, bit me again, and I was like, oh, I guess I'll do this for a while. And then a while turned into 10 plus years. Mm-hmm. It's crazy how it happens. Yeah. And then you like wake up and you're like, people are like, what do you do for a living? It's like, I do voices. And they're like, what does that mean? Like, cartoon voices. Well, have I seen any of your stuff? Do you watch cartoons? No.
What do you do? I'm gonna be a lawyer.
Then Josh did a panel all by himself.
Hi, my friend has something to say.
Oh, hi, friend. No, it's okay.
She's aggravated by earlier in the panel you said Victor and Yuri's friendship.
Well, we don't know for sure whether or not they actually are a thing. It's never said officially. Like the creators haven't approved. Haven't said outright yes they're a thing. There's never really at any point in the show where they're just like, no, we are together. We don't know if they actually kissed, which I think they did. I think they did. But here's the deal. The important thing about Yuri and Victor isn't necessarily whether or not they actually are an item. It's the effect that their relationship has on each other. Yuri, his big thing, his speech that he has when they're about to start the Grand Prix, like start to go out for the Grand Prix and everything, when he's saying, like, I'm calling, like he names his whole program love. Like the whole theme of his program is love. And it's because of Yuri's friendship, this loving friendship, this loving relationship that they have, he has started to realize that he was surrounded by love all along, but he never realized it. He was surrounded by love from his coaches over in the States when he was initially training. He was surrounded and like supported by love from his family and all of his friends back home. But he never realized that that's what it was or that's what it had, because he had no love for himself. He had no love in what he was doing. He basically is going through, I think, the journey that all artists go through. Like, raise your hand if you're an artist in here. And that's if you write music, if you draw, if you write stories, if you're an actor, if you're a dancer, if you're a freaking skater, that is your art. And I think at some point, keep your hand up. How many of you have ever gone through have had the thoughts of like, why am I doing this? Like, why am I even trying? I'm no good at this. And just no love for your own art, for your own creation, and in a way, no love for yourself because of that. That is, A, why Yuri is so relatable, and B, that's the journey he's going on. And it's Victor who shows him that he can love himself, and that he is loved, and that he has that support. That, to me, is what's important about, their relationship, not whether or not they actually are an item. If they are, it's really cool. And again, ask Sheepin. But I don't think that that's necessarily the most important part.
And Trina did her by herself.
Just had to like turn my head slightly, turn back. 5 people had their hands up.
So we kind of heard from Josh at this panel about how he felt with Attack on Titan Junior High. How do you feel about that versus normal Attack on Titan?
I loved Attack on Titan Junior High. It was such a fun reimagining of the world and of the series, and I loved that it was something I could show my friends, like my friends' kids. When they're like, "Oh, are you a cartoon character?" I'm like, "I am." And they're like, "Where?" And it's like, "You can't watch it. You're too little." And it's like, "I can watch anything. My life is over, Mom. Auntie Trina hates me." But being able to be like, "Look, Attack on Titan, Junior High," and then they can see it. I really loved it. I thought it was such a fun show, and it was just neat to be able to revisit Mikasa and that world, or the other world, or version of the world, in between waiting for season 2, because that wait was so long. So just being able to kind of get back into it was really fun. I love it. I also love Connie. Connie's my favorite character in that series. Just like all those little songs and everything. So cute. I love him. I don't know what that is. Like making this weird goat noise. It's beautiful. Oh, thanks, man. Thanks.
And then there's Bill Farmer.
My wife asked, because she is a director actually, and her question is always, what's the best piece of direction you've gotten that's stuck with you?
It's the best piece of direction I could give is when you're in the booth, when you are performing, you've got to get out of your skin. In other words, you can't worry about what they're thinking about you, and to inhabit the character. You've got to kind of get over the shyness. I hope I'm doing good, and that. And they're always behind the glass and you can't hear them, and you got the microphone, how you doing? And they're like, going like, I'm thinking they're saying, this guy sucks, can we get someone else? And they're probably saying, no, I wanted mayonnaise on the sandwich. And, so you never know, but you just have to put that out of your mind. So it's inhabit the character. And which is kind of difficult in voiceover because there's no one to play against. Generally, we do the dialogue alone. I don't do it with the other actors, at least on the Disney shows. I guess it's easier for the engineers. So I just have a script, but I know how, the way Nikki would say lines and the way that Donald would say lines, and so all I gotta know is how far away is he? And what's the situation? Again, is the house on fire? Is it in a race? Is it just talking to him? Is he like here, 10 feet away, or 50 feet away? So I don't go, boy, Mick, why, Mick, boy, Mick? So I know how to project it. And in your mind, you have to kind of create the scene, because all you got is a microphone and a piece of paper.
Thank you.
And Charlie Chung. Charlie Chung, I should say.
Feel about the new changes to Diva.
How did I know you were going to ask that question? I like it. When they first came out, I was at a con. I think I was in New Hampshire, and I haven't actually gotten to play with the changes yet. I just saw some footage on the PTR, but it took me a little bit to get used to the missiles. But I think it's good because of we need a little. I needed a little bit. I needed a little more long range help, and so I think that it was a good thing. I mean, a little bit of a buff on my defense matrix would be nice, but we'll work with what we have. But I like the missiles, and I embrace the missile, and I really like the new Mercy update. Actually, I think it's good with all the. What? What did you say?
How is Mercy made with the new update is terrible.
Do you really want to be hiding in the corner until the one moment that you get? Like, that's just so, oh, you do? Okay, somebody in the back like, yes, I'm not a Mercy maid, I prefer that. Well, and here's on a more serious note, I think that there's so many, female Mercies out there, and I'm all about, of course, with Diva being a female gamer, or a gamer, because she's female. I think that's really important that women aren't just thrown in a corner, nobody puts Mercy in a corner. And all of a sudden it's go, 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 go! And it's we don't need that. We need more interaction, and I think that when somebody puts a cap on your potential and you think that that's all they're good for, it's time to change the narrative. And so once you change that, people are going to see her for what she is more capable of.
And then there's a DBZ panel with Sean Schimmel and Christopher Sabat.
Hi, I just wanted to know if there were any scenes that you guys ever did where you just left the session and you were just like, man, I really acted that amazingly.
That is rare for me because Chris knows I'm really hard on myself. Every once in a while, I felt that way after I finished Resurrection F, only after the engineer let me go back and fix a line that I had read wrong. And I felt that way after episode 39 of Dragon Ball Super, where Goku does Kaioken times 10 Kamehameha. God mode Kaioken times 10. And then I did a Kamehameha, I think 2 Kamehamehas in that. That moment, Chris feels that way all the time because when you have a voice like Chris's, you always sound badass.
Yeah.
You just don't really, Chris doesn't have bad acting days. He doesn't,
Actually, it's worse because I end up directing myself a lot, and I'm way harder on myself than other people. Half the time in Sean's sessions, I'm going like, Sean, it's good. It's really good.
It's fine. Are you sure?
Are you sure about that? Like, Sean, just trust me. It's fine. It's really, really good. So
Chris ends up directing himself, and Raleigh's not going to argue with you because he trusts you.
No, I'm firing if you ever say
fire because he's your employee.
Yeah.
And Raleigh's watching this video.
I don't know if that's the best. I'm like, get out. Yeah, I think all of us are. We're always our worst critics. I mean, when you're in the booth, it's always hard to tell what you sound like. I don't know. It's even harder for me to think of. I can think of all the times I didn't like what I did. When I walked out of the booth, I'm like, I can't think of anything else. This Piccolo scene's gonna be fine. No one's gonna ever notice if this is bad or not. But we literally could not figure out anything because the writing came in so bad, and now forever and ever online, you will be able to find that clip where he's like, yes,
Oh,
yeah. Do this, I feel great, yes. Yeah, that's the worst scene I've ever done. And you can find it and watch it on repeat. And it'll be saying, on my grave, it's going to say, I can't do this. No.
That's because they were trying to flap everything with words, and they were making. We would probably do that scene differently now. Did you do it differently for Kai, or was that scene in Kai? Or was that
I think I can't remember. It's been so long. It's been so many years. I know we fixed it because now we can kind of put a couple of words in each flap, and it looks.
Oh yeah, we can kind of That's one of my favorite Piccolo scenes. It is.
And then there's the Stan Lee panel.
Hello, Stan Lee. First of all, I'd like to say it's a big honor to meet you. One of the Marvel characters is very different from all the rest, and my question is, what inspired you to create the lovable Burke that is Deadpool?
You asking about the what? I'm sorry?
What inspired you to create Deadpool?
Oh, this is an easy one to answer. Deadpool is one of the few I did not create. I wish I had created Deadpool, but I think he's a great character. What's the name of the guy? Rob Liefeld created Deadpool. And that's it. Incidentally, in the first Deadpool story, there was one line which I think is so clever and so brilliant. Deadpool is standing alone, and there are like 50 gunmen all gonna shooting at him. And he looks at his hand and he says, I've only got 12 shells. And he says to all those guys, I've only got 12 shells. You'll have to share. I wish I had written that. Go ahead.
And then the charity auction that happened after his panel to help with the damage from Hurricane Irma with Kevin Smith.
It starts back there at $2,000, is that correct? $2,000 we're starting at, ladies and gentlemen. $2,000, well done, my friend. Starting the bidding at $2,000. Do I hear? We're going to take jumps at $500 just to keep things moving along nicely. What? How much? $3,000. We're at $3,000 right now. $3,000 to go to Los Angeles and be Stan Lee's buddy for a weekend. It's your childhood dream come true. How much? $3,500 in the back, ladies and gentlemen. Do I hear 4,000? 4,000 right there. 4,000 there. Do I hear 4,500? 4,500. I just heard someone yell 5. Who was 5? Raise your hand. 5 right there. We got 5,000. Do I hear 550? 55. Starting right there. 55. Man, all right, we're at $5,500. Who's gonna jump to 6,000? Bam! It happened. I heard 2 6s. So I heard that one first. That's 6. How you guys? Is it the same 6?
That's her.
All right, 6,000, we're right there. $6,000, shit, man. Fucking, that's fantastic. So many people are gonna eat in Florida, and you're gonna eat with Stanley. How much? $6,500. $6,500 for a round trip to Los Angeles, hanging out with Stanley all weekend long. It's amazing. $7,000, man. How much did the Kevin Smith thing go for? 6. We already beat our record, man. We're at $7,000 to go to Los Angeles to Stan's Con and have dinner with Stan and see the Black Eyed Peas, man. And hold on. It is the weekend of October 27th this year, so that's coming up in a couple weeks. So just to lay it out there, in case you don't know. We're at 7,500? $7,500, ladies and gentlemen. 7,500 for the October 27th weekend. Do I hear 8,000? 7,500 going once. Once in a lifetime offer, ladies and gentlemen. How much? 8,000 right there. Ooh, we did it. We're at 8,000 $8,000 brings you to Los Angeles. You get to hang out and be best buddies with Stan Lee, have his Comic Con all weekend, go to a concert, have dinner with the man himself. $8,000 going once. $8,000 going twice. 85. Oh, it came in the last second. $8,500. That's real. Who got that? Raise your hand. Let me see it. There you go. Jumping into the game. Smart. $8,500 for a once-in-a-lifetime experience, ladies and gentlemen. $8,500 going to this brave gentleman over there. 9,000, we're at 9! Oh my Lord. Can we? I don't know. We're at 9, we'll see what happens. That's pretty generous right there, man. $9,000 for a once-in-a-lifetime weekend with Stan Lee in Hollywood, California, ladies and gentlemen. When you're there, you can check out Stan's hand and feet print at Roman's Chinese Theater. He's one of the only people in the modern era who's got his stuff, boom, with next to the legend, so that's where he belongs. $9,000 right here. Do I hear 9,500? 9,500. Where are you? Raise your hand. Raise your hand. Beautiful. 9,500 bucks, ladies and gentlemen. Can we get there? Will we get there? Will 5 figures enter our evening? Or are we going to stop right there at the precipice, which is totally cool, that's a lot of money. $9,500 going once. $9,500 going twice. Somebody check that person's bank account. $10,000, ladies and gentlemen. I don't think we get there, but we did it, man. That is what, 5, 6 figures? How many figures is that? 6, 5? It's a lot of figures, man. We're at 5 figures, ladies and gentlemen. $10,000. I can't imagine it goes higher than that. $10,000 going once. $10,000 going twice. Sold for $10,000.
And Veronica Taylor had 2 panels.
Hold on a second.
I like your costume.
Thank you so much.
It's really, this is a testament to how we all just appreciate and accept all of us just as we are. And I really love that you have that mask on. That's just amazing. So, anyway, go ahead.
So first off, I just want to say I really admire your whole, mentality of always looking forward and hoping for the future. But just out of curiosity, are there any roles in the past that you have any regrets doing, or conversely, any roles that you wish you could have done?
Well, I do audition for so many things that I don't get cast in. So every single thing I audition for, I wish I had gotten the chance to do it. There's not, I would say I don't have any regrets of things I've worked on, but there were things that I wish I had known more about before I started on it. Some things I'm cast in, like one time I was working on a show and we went through the whole thing, and the character was a boy, and it turned out at the end that it was a girl disguised as a boy. And I wish I had known that. I wish the director had known that. And so I said, I think we're gonna have to go back and do something. No, it's fine, you're fine. It came through. So something like that, I wish I had known a little bit more. But that's where some projects I work on are just, you work really fast, and there's no prep for any of it. There's no watching it ahead or anything like that. I like to be as prepared as possible, and that I did not like.
So my question is, yesterday's panel you mentioned that you're a mother and you have your daughter. She did some scenes with you in Pokemon, but at the same time, with that, and you do bring her along to different panels. How does she feel when she's sitting next to you? You're at these things, and all of a sudden you're known as Ash Ketchum.
Yeah.
And does she ever be like, well, she's not really like that all the time? How is that being a mom and being this famous voice actress at the same time?
Well, I'm still a mother today too. I didn't leave that behind after the panel yesterday, so just to clear that up. No, my daughter and I have kind of had a wonderful, or I should say the ability to have a wonderful relationship, because she's come to work with me, I go to school with her and go on field trips, and it's all morphed around in a really amazing way. My life is not kind of famous at all in my real life. But she does get to come to a studio with me for work, whereas other people go to their parents' office or the library or whatever. So her norm can seem like outrageous to you, but it's just a normal thing. She comes to the theater with me, I help out at her school plays, and like that kind of thing. We really have a very ordinary life, except we get to go to extraordinary places. The fact that we get to travel around the world to conventions has been such an opportunity that we, never take for granted, and really hope to be able to find some way to share it with all of you, because we've met so many amazing people and gone to really cool places. So I'm pretty much the same all the time. Weird, whatever. So when we're on a panel, I'm still the same person. But people care more about me at something like this than they do in my real life. Do you know? I'm still at home cleaning the dishes, doing the laundry sometimes, and vacuuming and stuff, and telling her to clean her room, and like that kind of stuff. So it doesn't change that much. But I do think it's been a lesson for both of us on how we all need to find a way to stay grounded and realize that none of this stuff is about us. It's not about me. It's about your experience and how we can come to a room here and discuss something that we have in common. And also for me to travel and hear your stories of watching Pokemon and what school was like when you were growing up, that's the thing for me. It's really not about me so much. And if I can share some of my experience to help your experience be easier in life, then my job is done.
I also have the cosplay contest, but I think I'm just gonna leave it as a private video because it has copyrighted music in it, and I got in some of my videos muted and blocked for using copyrighted stuff. Like Days 3 of Holiday and Shuri was straight up blocked because it contained a little bit of Gun and Wing in it. It wasn't the audio from Gun and Wing, it was just the visual of it, and they blocked the whole video because of that, and that got annoying, so I had to edit it out and re-upload it. And then for the MegaCon 2017 cosplay contest, that video is blocked in 6 countries. It's blocked in Australia, Japan, Mexico, New Zealand, South Korea, and the United States. And I'm like, what's even the point of me even uploading it? It's just gonna block it in a good chunk of the world, Also, on the Borderlands attack I saw on Tampa Bay Comic-Con, I had to edit out a Taylor Swift song, Bad Blood, because they muted the video when that was up on public. Had to edit out and just change the pitch of it, so it's never just changed to a very high pitch. It's very annoying, but they didn't mute the video after I did that. Now I could just hit the remove song button, but then I leave a gap of silence in the video, and that's really annoying, because it's not just the song they edit out. They will edit out the people talking over the song that's saying, "Hey, this is so and so cosplaying as this," and you won't hear that if I hit the remove song button. And then if you were cosplaying and you were in that contest and you're watching the video and you're waiting for your part to come up, and you're watching it, and then there's silence, and you can't hear the announcer say your name and what you're cosplaying as, and you can't hear the crowd cheering for you, that'll probably make you feel very sad that your part was edited out. I mean, you see you visually, but they don't know who you are. So yeah, I just leave it as private, okay?
Never mind about just keeping it private, since they already put a copyright claim on the video already. Cause there's no need to leave it as private. Cause I'll add it to the schedule and have it uploaded.
After the MegaCon Tampa videos are done, then I'll up stuff from Render Stop. At the Render Stop, I'll do Holiday Missouri, and then by the time it happens, Omni Fanboy Expo might be I started by then, and then probably got to MegaCon Orlando, and MegaCon, and Tampa Bay Comic Con, and Dragon Con, and other cons that come out this year. So yeah, that is what's coming up next. Goodbye.